Good morning, all of you. In the last lecture, we have talked about the dynamic response of second order system, and we have seen we have seen the solution analytically for second order and first order systems. In this lecture, we are going to see an alternative method to find the solution of the system, and we can analyze the system in an alternative way. So this uses another approach, and which is called transfer function. So basically let's define first what transfer function is. So transfer function is the ratio of output to input in Laplace domain. So I will formally write the transfer function is usually denoted as g of s. I'll call everything. Everything I will put it in details in my subsequent lectures. So gs is defined as the output, which is x, usually denoted with x. So let's suppose you have a plant in S domain, or in Laplace domain, or S domain. Usually call it as S domain. So this is your xs and your input is ys. So essentially gs, the transfer function, is written as output in Laplace domain or in S domain with that of ratio of output by input in Laplace domain. So this is the formal definition which I have put, but we don't know what is Laplace domain, what is S domain essentially. So let's briefly talk about what this Laplace domain is all about. So in time domain, when we call something, when we write any plant in time domain, we can write it in this form: gt, whatever input I am giving, yt, it may be step response, impulse response, sinusoidal response, ramp response, I'll get some form of output in the form of xt. Essentially this whole system is being converted to another sort of domain. This is my time domain, and this is my Laplace domain. Or sometimes also called S domain. So why I am doing this? We have seen that in time domain it is hard to seek the solution analytically, but here in Laplace domain things will be easy. Essentially this time domain, everything in time domain is being transformed by a operator L. This is my operator L operator, or also called Laplace. when we do the operation on any function, when we apply some sort of operator, I'll let you know, it transforms into S domain, and which is in the form of algebraic form or easier form. Okay, once the solution is being seeked, this thing is again being back transformed into the time domain to analyze in the form of timely manner with inverse Laplace. Operator. So what we do, since this is hard to solve, we convert this into another form of equation, and we do the calculations. Whatever the output we have got, the solution is in right now in S domain. What we do, we transform back through some sort of inverse Laplace, and we get everything in X domain again. Okay, so briefly, so since this course is not all about talking about what is this Laplace operator, but anyway, I'll talk briefly about what this Laplace operators look like. So Laplace operator is often defined as so let's suppose you have some function ft, and on this ft I want to operate some Laplace transformation on this function, some function. So essentially what I am doing, I am doing integral of this ft times e raised to the power minus st, some variable s in t, dt from minus infinity to infinity. So essentially what I am doing, I am multiplying my function with this operator and integrating with minus infinity to plus infinity, and whatever the solution I get, whatever the operated form I will get, I will write this is in the form of fs. So you start with ft, you apply an operator L, Laplace operator, which is nothing but this form of equation, you apply it here on ft, and whatever the output you are getting, this is it. Now it is in S domain. Essentially it eases my method procedure to seek the solution. One more thing I missed it. This transfer function, this output by input based on a condition with all initial condition being 0. What you do, you start the system with all initial conditions being 0, then only if you do the output by input, then whatever the ratio you get, that will be the transfer function of your system, but in S domain. So what if we are doing xt by yt? If you are doing this, we get nothing but again, but this is not transfer function. So transfer function is always should be in S domain, not in time domain. The time domain ratios are called gains. This is called gain, and this is called transfer function. So let's take some few of the examples of familiar functions that are being operated. Let's suppose my ft and fs. So when ft's are operated with this L operator, let's suppose I'm taking function 1, or let's suppose my unity, the fs you will get. So whenever you do ft 1 times e to the power minus st dt minus infinity to infinity, you will get the value 1 upon s. So you will write, if you convert 1, you will get 1 upon s with this function. So these are the well-known functions which will be widely used in our subsequent lectures. Another example is e to the power minus at in time domain. If this function you take, if you do the Laplace transform, so e to the power minus at times e to the power minus st dt, if you do minus infinity to infinity, you will get 1 upon s plus a. It's a matter of mathematics. You will get to know, or probably you should go and check your engineering mathematics books. You will get this value. But we will be using here in this due course, we will be using directly whatever the transform form we get. If you do the Laplace transform of sine at, we get a upon s square plus a square. If you do 1 minus e raised to the power minus at, you get a upon s plus a. Similarly, if we again transform back, or we apply inverse Laplace, we get ft again, and you will get 1 again. If you have things are in Laplace domain in this form, if you do the inverse transform, you will get again this function back. One minus e to the power minus at. Okay, let's talk about few algebras that are associated with these functions. So if you take ft, any function, you will get fs. If your function is multiplied with a times ft, and if you do Laplace transform over this function, you will get a times fs. You write it in capitals here. If you have two functions ft plus gt, if you do the Laplace transform over it, you will get fs plus gs, or capital Gs to be more precise. Now if you have the derivative of this function, of any function, and you want to do the Laplace transform over it, it comes out to be s times fs minus small f at initial time. Similarly, if you have double differentiation, and if you do Laplace transform, you get s square fs minus s small f initial condition minus small f initial condition of the derivative of this function. Similarly, if you have the function in this fashion, f t dt 0 to t, and if you do the Laplace transform over it, you will get 1 upon s or fs upon s. Let's take an example to understand more about the mathematics behind this transfer function. We have not so far not talked about seeking the solution, how we are going to seek the solution, but in the subsequent lecture you will see how we are going to get the solution alternatively for first order and second order systems. So let's take an example. Let's suppose we have a first order system like this: a1 d2 d by dx plus a0x is equal to b0y. This is my input. So we know from our previous experience that this sort of equations are having solution type first order system. I don't have. Okay, so we have already seen that this sort of first order equations shows solution of this kind: b0 by a0 1 minus e raised to the power minus a0 by a1 times t. Right. So you'll see how the similar with this Laplace transform and with inverse Laplace transform, again you will get this similar solution for this equation as well. So what we do, let's take Laplace transform of above equation as a whole. What I will do, I will apply a Laplace transform over both sides. What I get, so Laplace transform of this function first. So this is a1 times dx by dt. So dx by dt, we have already seen that this is s fs minus f0, and we also assume that all initial conditions are set to be 0. It's also given. So a0 dx by dt, so Laplace of dx by dt plus a0 Laplace of x, b0 Laplace of y. So all these in time domain, but now if I do the transformation, I get a1 Laplace transform of dx by dt is s fs minus f0. This goes away since initial condition is 0. So I'll write s times capital F x s. So all transformed variables are written in capital letters. So everything, it's algebraic right now. You will not get a feel of what's physically happening, but let's see, once we arrive at the solution, we'll see that we will be having similar solution with very easement. Very easily I will get the similar solution. So this is, so x0, so we set it this to be 0 because of the initial condition, plus a0 x of s is equal to b0 y of s, capital Y. Right. Now what we do, xs and common is a1s plus a1s plus a0 is equal to b0 ys here. I can write my xs by ys. So this is output by input. right? So y is my input and y x I am going to seek how the system is behaving. So this is nothing but my transfer function. So xs by ys I am getting b0 by a1s plus a0. What we do, we divide it by b0 by a0. I get a1 by a0 times s plus 1. Now what is this value? You remember in this form, when we multiply t with a1 by a0, and that we called a tau, a time constant. So here also we will substitute it with this one. So b0 by a0 divided by some time constant times s plus 1, and this we call some gain g, which is not this g, this is some other g, gt, or some gain k. To be more precise, we will write it k, some gain k divided by tau s plus 1. Okay, now we have gs in the form of k by tau s plus 1. What we can do now, this thing is in Laplace domain. We want to, so before that, so basically what we are interested in, we are interested in the output of the system. So what is my xt? So essentially this gt is equal to xs by ys. From here I can write xs, the output of the system in Laplace domain, is equal to k times tau s plus 1 times ys, and this is my input to the system, but in Laplace domain, right? So let's also assume that my input was step input of value 1. Okay, constant value 1 I have supplied. So essentially yt I have supplied as 1, right? Here yt I have supplied 1. So let me do the transform here. Laplace transform of yt is equal to Laplace transform of 1. So this I get ys, and 1 transform of 1, Laplace transform of 1, I have already told that it's taken as 1 upon s. So this we write 1 upon s. Now this I substitute it here. So what I get, the output xs as k times tau s plus 1 times 1 upon s. So essentially I am getting k by s times tau s plus 1. What I do, I will do slight transformation. I will write 1 k upon tau. This I write s plus 1 upon tau. For the time being, I will write k also 1. So this k is equal to 1. Let's suppose this gain is 1. So the form I am getting is this 1 upon tau s plus 1 upon tau. Again, let's call this 1 upon tau as a. a by s into s plus a. Let a is equal to 1 upon tau. Now what we do, we go by partial fraction. Either we can go by partial fraction method, or we can directly use my appendix to get the values what I will get, but I will go by partial fraction method. So in partial fraction method, let me take this on the next page. So since we have excess as a upon s into s plus a, so this is my output from the system, but in Laplace domain. Let's suppose I don't know the formula. What I will do, I will go by the partial fraction method. So what I will do, I will write this expression, this ratio as a upon s plus b upon s plus a, some constant a and some constant b. Now take the LCM, s into s plus a times s plus a plus b times s. So when I equate these two, so I'll write a s plus a plus b times s. A plus b times s plus a is equal to a. Now what you do, you equate left and right side. With coefficients. So we see the s coefficient here is 0. So essentially this is 0 and this a is 1. So I can write a is equal to 1 and a plus b is equal to 0. So since a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 1. So I can write this excess as a upon s into s plus a as 1 upon s minus 1 upon s plus a. Right. Now I want to seek the solution in time domain. What I do, I need to analyze in time domain. So what I will do, I will do inverse Laplace over xs, which will give me xt. So inverse Laplace of 1 upon s minus 1 upon s plus a. So this is nothing but inverse Laplace of 1 upon s minus inverse Laplace of 1 upon s plus a. This inverse Laplace of 1 upon s, so 1 upon s inverse Laplace is 1. I'll write 1 here. Inverse Laplace of 1 upon s plus a, 1 upon s plus a is e raised to the power minus at minus e raised to the power minus at. Now your xt is nothing but, and which is equally, we have seen that, which is equal to the response you are getting in this fashion. So since we have taken b naught upon a naught as 1, k upon k, this as 1, sorry, this as 1, we will get the similar thing. This, if you write this, so this is equal to 1 minus e raised to the power, this is my, so what is my a? So basically a is 1 minus e raised to the power minus tau t, or sorry, a is, we have taken 1 upon tau t, sorry. So this is 1 upon tau. So essentially this is your solution, and which matches with your e raised to the power minus 1 upon tau t. So you see, analytically we arrived with the same solution, and with this Laplace transform we get the similar solution, and it is easier also. Okay, one thing to note, we have done the analysis when your input was step input. You have to remember this, because with different inputs you will have different solutions. Now let's talk about the Laplace transform in second order system. So let's say we have a generic second order equation in this form: a2 times d2x by dt square plus a1 dx by dt plus a0x is equal to b naught y. Okay. Now what we do, we want to seek the transfer function for this system. What we do, we take Laplace transform both sides. It's in similar fashion what we did for first order system. So we do Laplace transform both sides. What we get, a2 times, so this d2 by d2t by dx square, we have the formula with us, this one we'll use, with also as assumption that we have all the initial conditions set to 0. So what we write here is s square xs plus rest of the terms are 0 with initial conditions. Now a1 times s xs plus a0 xs is equal to b0 ys. Now we can write the transfer function gs as xs by ys is equal to b0 by a2s square plus a1s plus a naught. Now with, let's suppose, let we have yt is equal to step input, again means 1, it means ys I am providing is 1 upon s. So 1 upon s, if I input it here, I will get the output response in Laplace domain as 1 upon s times, this is multiplied, b naught by a2s square plus a1s plus a naught. So in similar fashion, if you do the partial fraction method in similar way what we did in here, you'll get the solution, the desired solution. And if you once you get the partial fraction things, you can transform back in the inverse Laplace domain xt by taking inverse Laplace of whatever excess you got, and you will get the desired solution. We can also relate this second order system with our generic spring mass damper system. As follows: So instead of this, we do have this system m d2x by dt square plus c dx by dt plus kx is equal to f. What we do, we divide it by m all the sides. So d2x by dt square plus c by m dx by dt plus k by m x is equal to f by m. The c by m and k by m we can write in terms of omega n and the damping ratio zeta, right? So this equation can be modified and this form can be written as d2x by dt square plus 2 zeta omega n. If you do the calculations, you will get this dx by dt plus omega n square x is equal to b naught if you talk in terms of this omega n square y. So if b naught y was here, let's suppose, not f, b naught y was here, right? Now if you do the Laplace transform here, we get the transfer function as xs by ys as follows, as b naught omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. And you can do the comparison with this equation to this equation, and you will get the coefficients. Again you will do some similar things. Let's suppose you have a step input, and if you want to seek my xs, so I will multiply with s b naught omega n square s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. These are multiplied with 1 upon s since this is my step input. So this is your output response of the system. So let's take an example over this. So what I will do, I can again write this in the form of b naught omega n square. So s times s plus some p1 plus s plus some p2. These are called poles of the system. I'll talk about it in the quick in the later time. These are my roots of the system, and so again you can do all sorts of behavior analysis. If the system zeta is having greater than 0, then you will have roots of the system. You will get p1 and p2 in some form. You can write your xs in the form of this. So again it's a bit of algebra there, but yeah, so far we are able to get the response out of any sort of first order or second order system. Let's take a quick example to understand more. Let's suppose I have a robotic arm, or I have a robot whose transfer function is given as gs is equal to k by s plus 3 whole square, and this is subjected to ramp input. This time not a step input, but we can again estimate everything. So ramp input means you will have y is some function of t, linear function of t, right? So if you do the Laplace transform of t, you will get 1 upon s square. So you will have input in terms of Laplace domain as 1 upon s square. This you can see here. Okay, it's there. In your appendix you can check. If you do the Laplace transform of t, you will get 1 upon s square. So this gs is k upon s plus 3 whole square. So this is nothing but xs by ys. So I'm seeking the output of the system with this response, how this robotic arm will behave. So xs I can write k by s plus 3 whole square times ys k times s plus 3 whole square times s square. So with partial fraction method you can estimate your individual ratios in this manner. 9 s plus 3 plus k 9 s plus 3. This is my xs. So when you do the inverse Laplace, so I need xt. So when you do inverse Laplace of this, you will get k by 9 times t minus 2 by 9 k times e raised to the power minus 3t plus 1 upon 9 kt times e raised to the power minus 3t. So this is your overall response of the system. You can now estimate how your system is behaving. Two things I also want to tell you about. One is when the systems are in series, how when 2 or 3 transfer functions are in series, how does the overall transfer function look like, and if your transfer function is in a feedback closed loop manner, how does your system overall transfer function, closed loop transfer function would look like. So let's talk about system in series. So let's suppose I have a transfer function g1 is connected with g2, which is also connected with g3, and input I am giving y s. First output I am getting x1s, second output I am getting x2s from here, and last output I am getting xss final. So I want to know what is the equivalent gs of the system with ys and xs. So this is nothing but the multiplication of all these. So g of s is equal to xs by ys So I can write xs by x1s, I can multiply and divide x1s, multiply and divide x2s, so this is nothing but your g1s times g2s times g3s. So why this is important? Your system, your plant may be sitting over here, but these are some other plants, some motors, some sensors whose transfer functions are given in series. You can actually estimate the overall plant dynamics in this fashion just by multiplying it. Sometimes what happens, So let's now talk about the closed loop or the feedback transfer function, feedback plant. So this is your open loop transfer function. Sometimes what you will get a feedback. You will sense, so there will be a sensing device which will sense your output, and it will do, sorry, we will not do it here, we will do it freshly. What I will do, let's suppose I have a GS. I have an output access, I have a feedback with some measuring device, that is we call HS. I'm taking this XS signal and feedbacking it through some measuring device, and I'm comparing it with comparator, and this is my actual input YS. So basically this thing is being compared or errored, and this error is being feedback to this system. So how the overall, so this is your closed loop plant. So how your overall, if we write this, if we want this as a whole as a system, and if we write this G, the overall plant, this G dash is your feedback or G dash feedback. As you want to estimate this, what is your overall transfer function of the feedback plant. So how to estimate it? So this is essential for designing the controllers for the system. So what we will do here, so this signal is access, is being feedback here, and this is sort of gain HS. So the signal coming out here is nothing but HS times XS, which is being errored with YS. So the error here is nothing but this guy minus this guy, YS minus HS times XS. So this is your input and this is your output, right? So for this GS, this is your input, so this is your input and this is your output for this GS, and we need to find this feedback GS. So this GS we can write XS upon this YS minus HS XS, right? And we want G dash. So what is my G dash? Basically G dash is nothing but this access by this YS, right? This is what I want from here. We need to find it from here. So what I will do, I will divide it by YS throughout. Divided by YS I will do, divided by YS I will do. What I will get? So this YXS by YS is G dash X, G dash feedback or closed loop, right? And this is my 1 minus HS times XS by YS is G dash S, and this is your open loop plant. So we can actually write in terms of G dash X. So G dash feedback S is equal to GS minus HS G dash S feedback times GS I can write. So GS is equal to G dash okay. Okay, we can divide everything by GS I can write G dash S plus H S G dash S and GS. So essentially, if you do the calculation, okay, let me not go by do the algebra. So if you do it properly, you will get that G dash S, you will get G by 1 upon H S GS. So this is your feedback transfer function with the open loop transfer function with the feedbacks multiplied plus 1. Yes, we can get it here from here. Okay, let's now talk slightly about